Now on Coast TV News.
District without direction. Sussex County Democrats provide few answers on the lack of representation for District 20 at Legislative Hall. Confirmation and swearing in. Delaware Governor Matt Meyer gets 2 of his judiciary nominations approved in the state Senate. Bay budget boost. The restoration plans for the Chesapeake coming out of Maryland's recently approved budget.
This is Coast TV News Today.
And it is Friday, April 18th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick. Thank you for being up with us during this 5 o'clock hour as we do hit Good Friday and the Easter break for many of you out there. First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihey joins us now with a look at First Alert weather. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Delmarva. It is a chilly start on this Good Friday. We have temperatures in the 30s away from the coast. I don't think it's cold enough for frost, but we're looking at 38 in Delmar. Kind of close, though. 39 Georgetown, 36 in Redden, 40 in Seaford, 41 in Salisbury. A little milder at the beaches, 49 in Ocean City right now, 48 Indian River Inlet. Now, the winds are calm for the most part, but the tendency is out of the south as we will have a warm-up as we go through the day. And we're seeing some high wispy clouds. You can see those outside right now, and those will tend to make the temperatures rise a little bit this morning. Otherwise, we have high pressure over the top of us, and that's starting to slide offshore, and the return flow around that high will bring in that warm-up today and a much bigger warm-up into the weekend. Here's 6 a.m. on Futurecast. High clouds. I think most of us are in the 40s and don't have to worry about the frost today. Mid-morning, we're looking at temperatures into the upper 50s. By the noon hour, around 70 in Salisbury, up to Seaford, 69 in Millsboro, but cooler at the beaches. So if you're headed there for your Good Friday, we're looking at temperatures in the 50s and 60s. And then those winds ramping up this afternoon, maybe gusting up to 30 miles per hour at times. 72 in Salisbury, 71 in Millsboro, Ellendale, 73, 68 in Lewis, and 50s and 60s from Bethany Beach to Ocean City. And for your Friday evening, pretty mild with temperatures into the 50s and 60s. So we'll see those calm winds turn out of the south and pick up today with a warm up into the 70s. I'm talking summer-like warmth as we go into the Easter holiday weekend. Saturday, not as warm on Easter Sunday, much more on your Easter forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
All right, thank you, Bob. Our top story this half hour on Thursday night, Delaware District 20 Democrats held a social gathering in Lewis with a representative of that district, fellow Democrat, Del Parker Selby, not in attendance. Those at the event tell Coast TV the only communication they've had with Parker Selby is through text and email, and do not know the next time she will be at Legislative Hall. In Maryland, the state legislative session recently ended, and we're seeing several actions that could impact the Eastern Shore. The overarching concern is with a recently passed budget with calls for $2 billion in cuts and over $1.5 billion in tax and fee increases. This is to try to erase that over $3 billion budget deficit. A bill was passed that gives the state the authority to allow solar farms along with energy storage sites. This prevents local leaders also from denying solar projects. In that budget, some help from the Chesapeake Bay and communities along its shores. $400 million is headed to restore the Bay economy, according to the Maryland Department of Environment. It's part of the Bay's $3 billion economy. The department says the Chesapeake Bay will use the money for upgraded wastewater treatment plants and living shorelines, and that money will also support work that keeps the Bay clean. This just in, 2 of Delaware Governor Matt Meyer's judicial appointments are getting confirmed by the state Senate. Superior Court Judge Eric Davis is now the president of that court. Megan Karasik begins as New Castle County Family Court Commissioner. Both were unanimous confirmations, and both were immediately sworn in. This is Easter weekend, but the holiday will look different at the Vatican this year. Pope Francis has delegated cardinals to lead Holy Week and Easter services as he continues to recover from double pneumonia. The 88-year-old pontiff was released from the hospital in late March. The Vatican says he is improving, but he cannot speak for long periods and needs to have his medical team nearby. Happening tonight, we are expecting the arrival of a crane at BB's Rollins Lewis campus. And here's the impact it could have on drivers in that area of Savannah Road. According to BB, starting at 8 tonight, the patient drop-off and pick-up circle will be closed at the east entrance. The exit lane leading to Savannah Road will also be closed. All lanes will reopen approximately 4 p.m. on Saturday, April 19th. Got developing news out of Delaware State Capitol. Legislation allowing terminally ill patients in the state to end their lives through self-administered medication. It is heading to Governor Matt Meyer's desk. The bill passed the Senate. It would give mentally capable adults with 6 months or less to live the option for medical aid in dying. If signed by Meyer, Delaware becomes the 11th state to legalize this practice. In Millsboro, changes are likely coming to the future makeup of the town council. On Thursday, the Delaware Senate approved a bill that allows the town to authorize redistricting using the 2020 federal census by January 1st. Also, in dealing with vacancies, the council will appoint a person when there is less than 1 year remaining in that vacant term. They will hold a special election if there's over a year remaining, and this follows approval in the House, so it now goes to Governor Meyer's desk. It will be a crime in Delaware if you discharge a firearm in a number of places. Bill is making its way in the State House. If a weapon is fired at a home, place of worship, at a car, or a business, that will be a Class E felony. Shooting ranges are exempted if part of normal activity there. House Bill 123 has been assigned to the Judiciary Committee. Now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. with 90 days until sweeping tariffs kick in on imported goods from around the world. More allies are coming to meet with President Trump searching for a deal. The president, once again, threatened to fire the Federal Reserve Chair. Along with that, NBC's Alice Barr shows us that a Maryland senator secured a meeting with the alleged MS-13 gang member who was deported to an El Salvador prison.
This morning, President Trump's economic and immigration policy both making waves, with the first images of Kilmar Abrego Garcia since his deportation to a notorious prison in El Salvador through what the Trump administration called an administrative error. Meeting here with Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen, who traveled to press for his release.
Kilmar has his due process rights.
The White House interpreting a Supreme Court order to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return to mean that El Salvador would have to initiate the release. That country's president writing, quote, "Now that he's been confirmed healthy, he gets the honor of staying in El Salvador's custody." The Trump administration says Abrego Garcia is part of the violent MS-13 gang, citing Maryland police reports based on an informant who his attorneys and family refute. He has no criminal convictions. President Trump appearing to step back from the issue.
Well, I'm not involved in it. I'm going to respond by saying you'll have to speak to the lawyers.
As he stepped up his sharp criticism of Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, who he's repeatedly urged to lower interest rates.
I don't think he's doing the job. If I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
That following these comments on Wednesday.
Tariffs are highly likely to generate at least a temporary rise in inflation.
The Federal Reserve is designed to act independently to avoid political pressure, and Chairman Powell, who President Trump once appointed, has said he doesn't have the authority to fire him. The clock now ticking to a new round of tariffs as the president works toward trade deals with world leaders. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Still a lot more news to get to this morning on Coast TV News Today, and coming up, opening weekend excitement. We have the festivities you can look forward at Trippers over the weekend. Also, emergency services efficiency, how Delawareans will benefit with 911 upgrades. And Gordon's Pond going on a break. We have the information about the planned closures at that trail and why. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
5:11 on this chilly Good Friday morning. We're seeing some cirrus clouds building in, but it's still chilly out there. We've got 44 in Milford right now, but we've got some upper 30s. I don't think it's cold enough for frost in some places, but don't be surprised to see maybe a little bit of frost around Delmarva, maybe Georgetown. 39 there, 36 in Redden, a better chance there. 49 in Ocean City and mid to upper 40s at the coast as the winter calm, but the tendency is out of the south, and we have high clouds building in, so the combination of a southerly breeze, and the clouds will start to warm us up and really warm us up as we go into the afternoon as high pressure moves away and we warm into the 70s. For the kiddos at the bus stop, though, they're going to have to bundle up. Still chilly, especially away from the coast, 39, and then heading home, 70 degrees, mild and breezy. And just as I showed you the bus stop forecast, I understand there is no school on Good Friday, but I thought I'd show it to you anyway.
Hey, we get an idea of what the morning and afternoon is. That is the important piece of information there. New in Salisbury, the city is getting rid of the temporary speed bumps in the downtown parking garage, saying the measures were originally installed during peak construction and after many reports of speeding. Well, now construction is nearing an end, and according to city officials, new reduced speed signs will be installed in place of those speed bumps. Maintenance coming to Gordon's Pond Trail on Monday. According to Cape Henlopen State Park, the trail will be closed from Monday, April 21st to Thursday, April 24th. Park says this is for maintenance on the bridge. Officials say the trail is expected to reopen on Friday, April 25th. If you're like a lot of people, you've been watching the stock market every day lately, or if you're like me, I've been averting my eyes in this one. But we are getting a break from Wall Street for the Easter holiday. Both the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ are closed for Good Friday. After-hour tradings is generally not available on market holidays. So far, 2025 has been good for Netflix. The streaming service just reported its first quarter earnings, which amounted to $10.5 billion in revenue. Netflix says it brought in close to $3 billion in net income during the first 3 months of 2025, and those numbers exceeded what was forecasted by experts.
We're looking at a chilly morning across Delmarva, especially inland, some 30s there, 45 in Lewis on the Irish Ice Cam, as it is a chilly start, but we've got a nice warm-up beginning today and even warmer heading into the Easter holiday weekend with 80s likely Saturday. A little cooler and cloudier for Easter Sunday. I'll have your complete holiday forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 5:16 and you are looking live. We got a chilly morning going on in South Milford. Easter holiday, Bob, and with that, right, we are looking forward to some Easter egg hunts.
Oh, yes. Big day, I would think, tomorrow for Easter egg hunting for the kiddos, Matt. And I'm wondering if they use the plastic egg still with the candy inside or the real deal. But whatever the case, it is looking fantastic if you have an egg hunt for tomorrow, 8 a.m., 66. Look at all that candy in there. 76 by noon, and then by 4 p.m., 83 degrees. Feeling more like maybe the 4th of July instead of the day before Easter. We're looking at temperatures now that are chilly, almost bordering on frosty conditions, but not quite there, I don't think. 38 Delmar, 39 Georgetown, maybe a little bit of frost in Rednet, 36, 41 in Salisbury. Checked my station in Millsboro, 38 there, 51 in Ocean City, and 46 in Bethany Beach. As the winds are calm now, a little bit of a breeze at the coast, but the tendency is out of the south, and that southerly breeze as we go through the day will really start to warm us up as we're looking at some high clouds right now floating in from the north and west. High pressure that's giving us that chilly weather the last couple of days now starting to slide offshore. The flow around that high coming in out of the southwest. That means we're looking at a big warm up. We have a lot of heat building. I think Texas, much of Texas was in the 90s today. We're not going to see that, but that heat is coming our way with the frontal system back to the west as we're in a southwesterly flow on Saturday. I think we're looking at highs in the 80s, the warmest day we're going to see for several days. And then it does cool back into the 70s on Easter Sunday as this front back to our west does slide through. But I think it's a dry front at that time. So Futurecast this morning has us warming through the 40s into the upper 50s by 9 a.m. By noon, upper 60s, low 70s away from the coast, cooler at the beaches, and then lower 70s the farther inland you go, and then a little cooler as you work your way towards the water. And then this evening, breezy and mild. Through the overnight, we're seeing temperatures into the 60s, very mild with partly cloudy skies. And then by Saturday morning, we're seeing low 60s. And then Saturday, the real big warm up. We're into the mid 70s noon hour. Look at this by 4:30, 83 Salisbury, 84 in Millsboro, 83 in Georgetown. A little cooler at the coast with 60s and 70s. And then very mild heading into your Saturday evening. And if you're headed out for sunrise services on Easter Sunday, I think we're looking looking at a mix of sun and clouds. I think it's dry with temperatures in the 60s, but much of the day we're looking at temperatures into the 60s and lower 70s, 60s into the evening hours. As we go through time, we're looking at breezy southerly winds gusting to 30 miles per hour times as we go into this afternoon, tonight, and into the weekend as well. So pretty breezy and warm as we head into your Easter holiday weekend. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 72 for your Good Friday, mostly sunny. Saturday, a mix of sun and clouds, 83. And then mostly cloudy Easter Sunday, a little cooler, 72. 68 for Monday, maybe a few showers by Tuesday, 75, but staying pretty mild next week. Congratulations to Don Russo from Millsboro on winning a new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
Thank you, Bob. Delaware is taking emergency response to the next level with new upgrades to its 911 system. Dispatchers can now send callers a link. This will access their camera with permission to be able to stream live video. That allows to see what's happening in real time. The system also includes real-time text and translation in over 90 languages, helping bridge communication gaps in critical moments. Another new tool, Z-Axis. It allows first responders to pinpoint not just your location, but also the floor you're on.
Typically in an emergent situation, people are really upset, they're not thinking or seeing clearly. With the ability for us to also tune in and be in a controlled environment, we can provide even more details or maybe recognize more surroundings that the caller cannot.
And officials say these innovations are designed to save time when every second counts.
Calendar this weekend, so stay tuned for your cool things to do.
Trimper Rides in Ocean City getting ready for a new season. The amusement park will host a full park opening this weekend. There will be an Easter egg hunt, pictures with the Easter Bunny. That sounds exciting. And possibly a few new games. Operations Manager Jeff Stant says what opening weekend means to him.
We're super excited. We hate having our doors closed.
Yeah.
So this is our absolute favorite time of year. We're all in high gear right now, getting everything back open.
Oh, I bet.
But we're ready for it.
Trimper Rides opens this weekend at noon on Saturday and also on Sunday. Easter is right around the corner, and you can start your Easter Sunday with music and meaningful conversation if you celebrate with Sunrise Sermons 2025, The Final Sacrifice. Service begins at 7 a.m. on Coast Country, 9:30 a.m. on the Delmarva Sports Network, 10:30 a.m. right here on Coast TV. And when the calendar flipped to 2025, this is the type of spring weekend I have been waiting for. Though, Bob, it does seem, at least for today, it'll be a little bit cooler along the coast.
Yeah, a little cooler along the coast. I think we could shave a good 8-10 degrees off the highs from the inland areas, Matt, and I think that'll be the case heading into the weekend. For Fenwick Island and Ocean City today, we're starting out in the 40s, but with the southerly breeze, a nice warm-up to near 60 degrees. We'll see some high clouds floating in, and the winds pick up. We'll see a small craft advisory go into effect this afternoon. Lewis, mid to upper 60s for you with some high clouds, and then mid-60s for highs into Rehoboth, and the UV index is moderate. On the bay side, 1 to 2 foot waves. In Cambridge, starting out chilly, but warming into the mid to upper 60s. And then for Crisfield, pretty nice for you. Lots of sunshine, around 50 at 7, but then around 68 by 5. And then tomorrow, it's feeling like summer with a pretty mild Easter holiday weekend. I'll have that complete forecast coming up with more details in the next half hour.
Looking forward to that, and there is something in the air this weekend, and we're not talking about the pollen. We're talking excitement, history, and beach town buzz. Here's Coast TV's Christina DiRobertis with your cool things to do.
Well, it's one of those weekends where there's something happening just about everywhere you look here on Delmarva. So let's start in Dewey Beach, where the annual Egg Scoop kicks off Saturday at 10:45 a.m. There's going to be egg hunts for all ages, yes, even adults, and don't head out too soon because the Dewey Dogs Easter Parade follows right after. In Bethany Beach, it's Bunny Palooza. The annual 5K and walk steps off at 8 a.m. Saturday, raising money for local grants, scholarships, and programs that support neighbors in need. And that's not all the Easter fun this weekend. In Lewis, there's the Easter Bunny Bonanza. It brings egg hunts, and a bunny arrival by boat at Canal Front Park Saturday morning. Chincoteague's Easter Decoy and Art Festival returns for its 44th year Friday and Saturday, celebrating local art and tradition. And over in Berlin, a spring celebration Saturday with breakfast, egg hunts, and the Easter Bonnet Parade. Also this weekend, Lewis is getting a jump on celebrating America's 250th birthday. The city kicks things off this weekend with an event honoring Paul Revere's famous midnight ride when he warned the British are coming back in April 1775. You can enjoy a free community bonfire from 4 to 6 Saturday on Savannah Beach. And looking ahead to Monday, you can join CoastTV Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams for a fundraising event at Nicola Pizza. Proceeds will benefit the Walk for Prostate Cancer, plus a 50-50 raffle and a silent auction. For event details, tickets, and more, just head over to CoastTV.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
Now on Coast TV News.
District without direction. Sussex County Democrats provide few answers on the lack of representation for District 20 at Legislative Hall. Confirmation and swearing in. Delaware Governor Matt Meyer gets 2 of his judiciary nominations approved in the state Senate. Bay budget boost. The restoration plans for the Chesapeake coming out of Maryland's recently approved budget.
This is Coast TV News Today.
April 18th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick, and the time is 5:30. Weekend is here. It is a holiday weekend at that, and to expect for what you may have, for many of you, I guess, you have a day off today, and we're going to First Alert meteorologist Bob Triheed to break down the Good Friday weather.
Yes, good morning, Matt. We are looking at a chilly start to our Good Friday. We have some temperatures in the 30s. Cold enough for frost? I don't think so, but pretty close. 38 Delmar, 39 in Georgetown, around 39 in Millsboro right now, 36 in Redden. Now, temperatures have stabilized because we have clouds and the winds coming out of the south a little bit. 50 in Ocean City right now, and a little bit of a southerly breeze at the coast. Inland areas are calm, but we're going to see those southerly winds picking up. And we have some mid to high-level clouds building in right now, and that is kind of putting a cap. That's kind of preventing those temperatures from bottoming out anymore, as we have high pressure that has given us that chilly weather starting to slide offshore. We're getting into a southerly flow around that high with a bigger warm up today, and we're going to see those temperatures warming from the 30s into the 40s early this morning. Then by mid-morning, it's pretty mild, upper 50s to around 60 away from the coast. Cooler at the beaches by noon, around 57 Bethany Beach, 54 Fenwick Island, and then upper 60s from Salisbury to Millsboro and Georgetown. And I think we'll be into the 70s by mid-afternoon, 72 around Salisbury, 71 at Millsboro, Georgetown 72, so nice and mild and getting breezy, but once again, a little cooler at the beaches, and it looks like a quiet and mild evening on the way. Drivecast, I gave it the green light for this morning with chilly and dry conditions, and then breezy and warm for your Good Friday afternoon with temperatures into the 60s and 70s.
Thank you, Bob. Our top story this half hour: on Thursday night, Delaware District 20 Democrats, they held a social gathering in Lewis. The representative of that district, fellow Democrat Stell Parker-Selby, not in attendance. Those at the event tell Coast TV the only communication they have had with Parker-Selby is through text and email, and they do not know the next time she will be at Legislative Hall. 2 of Delaware Governor Matt Meyer's judicial appointments are getting confirmed by the state Senate. Superior Court Judge Eric Davis is now president of that court. Megan Karasik begins as Newcastle County Family Court Commissioner. Both were unanimous confirmations, and both were immediately sworn in. La Esperanza, it's a nonprofit organization which has been helping the immigrant community in Sussex County for almost 30 years. They had secured federal funding for a legal program aimed at unaccompanied and, in many cases, illegal immigrant children. Now the story has changed. Recent federal funding cuts are hitting the program hard, and Telemundo Delmarva and Coast TV News reporter Ana Sofia Roman shows us what this means to the children who are on their own.
La Esperanza currently has 60 cases of unaccompanied immigrant children that they are representing. Unaccompanied immigrant children are kids who come to the U.S., usually across the border, either alone or with someone who's not their parent. They are then placed with a sponsor somewhere in the country, often a relative. Brian Garcia is the acting executive director of La Esperanza and says without the organization's support, it becomes much harder for children to find safety and stability in the U.S.
This program is important because it's taking down one of those barriers, right? The cost of legal services. These children are getting legal services completely free, and they're getting representation in court. So that means that we go to court with them. We're talking to the judge on their behalf, right, representing them.
Garcia says a lot of time, immigration cases within the court can take years to complete.
Even though we have 60 children, these are children that we may be representing and will need to represent over the next 4, 5, maybe even 6 years.
Garcia adds that not having the sufficient funding to cover the cost of representation might put children in a tough spot.
If they don't have anyone to support them to pay for that, they have to find ways to pay for it. And it may require them to go work, and to find work, if they don't have legal status, if they don't have work authorization, it puts them in a vulnerable position in that they may be using fake documents to do work that could be dangerous, or a work that could be very hard for a child.
With options for funding drying up, La Esperanza is hoping the community will come together to support those who they say need it the most. In Georgetown, Ana Sofia Roman, Coast TV News.
More information on the story can be found on our website, coasttvnews.com. Happening tonight, we are expecting the arrival of a crane at BB's Rollins Lewis campus, and here is the impact it could have on drivers in that area of Savannah Road. According to BB, starting at 8 tonight, the patient drop-off and pickup circle will be closed at the east entrance. The exit lane leading to Savannah Road will also be closed. All lanes will reopen approximately 4 p.m. Saturday, April 19th. Got developing news out of Delaware State Capitol. Legislation allowing terminally ill patients in the state to end their lives through self-administered medication. It is heading to Governor Matt Meyer's desk. The bill passed the Senate. It would give mentally capable adults with 6 months or less to live the option for medical aid in dying. If signed by Meyer, Delaware becomes the 11th state to legalize this practice. Maryland has recently approved its budget for fiscal year 2026. If in that budget, some help could be coming for the Chesapeake Bay and communities along its shores. $400 million are headed to restore the Chesapeake Bay economy, according to the Maryland Department of the Environment. That is part of the Bay's $3 billion economy. The department says the Chesapeake Bay will use this money for upgraded wastewater treatment plants and living shorelines. Money will also support work that keeps the bay clean. New this morning, more details in the deadly shooting at Florida State University on Thursday. Witnesses recount terror and disbelief during a deadly shooting rampage at that university. 2 people were dead or are dead now, and several were wounded as a result of that violence. The surgeon involved with the survivors' care says they're all expected to recover. One student says she was near the Student Union building when a man fired in her general direction and then shot a woman.
That's when I realized there was no target and that it was anybody he could see, and I took off.
A mass event like this that's, right outside at our own university really hits close to home.
Officials say campus police shot and apprehended the suspect. They say he's a 20-year-old FSU student whose parent is a local sheriff's deputy. Still more news this morning on Coast TV News Today. Coming up, trail temporary closure. What DelDOT is announcing, why they're announcing a pause to access the Lewis-Georgetown Trail. Also, cross-conference battle in girls lacrosse, how Indian River measured up against the Gunston School in a game that spilled into overtime. And Salisbury Zoo says goodbye. We'll tell you what is next for a beloved bear there. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
It is 5:40 on this chilly Friday morning. Spicer Brothers Cam showing daylight. Salisbury 41 degrees. Sun's up now earlier at 6:20. Pretty chilly inland areas. Delmarva and Georgetown in the upper 30s. I think it's a little too warm for frost. Otherwise, we're looking at 40s, even 50 in Ocean City right now. The winds are calm, but the tendency is out of the south, and we'll have a big warm up today as we're seeing some high clouds this morning and high pressure beginning to slide offshore, and that will allow much warmer air to move in from the southwest as we go through the day. Today's checklist: don't need the rain gear, need the heavy jacket this morning. It's chilly out there with lighter clothing into the afternoon. Make sure you have a warm beverage, and the sunglasses will be a must as we go through the day. And call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast, sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico.
Great annual Delaware Kite Festival will fill the sky this morning. This year marks the event's 57th anniversary. According to the Lewis Chamber of Commerce, at 11 a.m., prior to kite competition, there is an Easter egg hunt. The organization says this activity is only for children 12 and under. The kite competition for kids and teens begins after the hunt. Following this is the highest kite competition. That's around 1 p.m. All activities are free, but people must register for the kite competitions. Again, that begins at 10 a.m. A longtime Salisbury resident is saying goodbye. The Salisbury Zoo's female Indian bear, Chaska, is moving to the Alexandria Zoo in Louisiana next month. She came to the zoo in 2013, gave birth to 4 cubs. A special celebration to honor Chaska is planned for April 26th there at the Salisbury Zoo.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good morning, sports fans. A thriller in girls lacrosse. It's a cross-conference battle between Indian River and the Gunston School. We jump ahead. IR up 4-0, but Layla Kent with the answer, making the score 4-1 in the first quarter. Now in the second quarter, Kate Sotarelli of Gunston comes up from behind, passes to Grace Shepard, who gets it to go 5-3 now. Then it's Kent yet again dodging the Indians, finding Twine, making the score 8-5 in the second quarter. Moving on, Alexis Wilkinson of Indian River bouncing it and getting it 9-5 in the second quarter. Now we jump to the third. Harris passing the ball to Casey Kirshner, who shoots it and finds the back of the net. It's 10-7. Now in the fourth quarter, Zotarelli passes to Isabella Gershmeyer, and it gets to go for the Hurons. The score is now 14-14. Harris doing her thing from free position, gets it to go 15-14. Now we move on to overtime. The score is tied 15-15. Wilkinson gets the shot in overtime. Indian River comes out on top in a thriller in OT, 16-15. That over sports. Have a great day, everybody.
Coming up on DSN today, get this, we've got some late morning sports for you, because at 11 you can watch live as Delmarva faces off against Parkside in softball. There's a replay of this at 8 o'clock tonight, and then at 10:30 it is the final score. Into the Trenches is back for its third season, and this year we follow the Cape Henlopen Vikings football team. They were fresh off their first state championship appearance in 40 years. DSN takes you to the practice field, inside the locker rooms, and on the sidelines as the team hopes to prove themselves once again to be among the top teams in Delaware Class 3A. Into the Trenches premieres Thursday, April 24th, 7:30 on DSN and DSN+. Time now for some entertainment news, and we have David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
There are many kinds of death. Some are better than others.
Time doesn't always heal. That's clear in the latest trailer for 28 Years Later. After nearly 3 decades, neither the infected nor the survivors are the same. 28 Years Later arrives in theaters June 20th.
It's all thrilling.
Glenn Powell is going country. He's set to star in a comedy for Universal Pictures about a country music star in freefall. Judd Apatow is on board to direct and co-write the script with Powell. The Women's Cancer Research Fund is giving Olivia Munn its Courage Award. She'll be honored at the fund's gala April 28th in Beverly Hills. Munn went public with her bilateral breast cancer diagnosis last year, urging women to advocate for their health. The National Cancer Institute credits the actress with the number of women using a risk assessment tool on its website rising 4,000%. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We're seeing high wispy clouds right now on the Tidal Health Cam in Salisbury, 41, even some upper 30s inland. Don't think we're seeing frost, but it's a chilly start this morning. We have a warm up beginning today, even warmer into Saturday with 80s likely. A little cooler but dry into Easter Sunday. I'll have your complete holiday forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 5:48, and we are getting another live look at Salisbury on this Good Friday morning. Holiday weekend, and what a great weather weekend it will be, Bob.
Yeah, I don't think we could have scripted this any better, Matt, for the Easter holiday weekend with the warm temperatures building into the area. Here's the storyline, and on your Good Friday, it will be a warmer day. I think we're looking at 70s inland area, 60s at the beaches. And then for the weekend, we're looking at 80s as we go into your Saturday. It will be cooler at the coast, and then I think more clouds on Easter Sunday. But I think we keep a dry, good conditions as we go into your Easter for sunrise services and mild 70s into the afternoon. Right now it's not mild, it's chilly. 38 in Delmar, 39 in Georgetown. Just check Millsboro, 39 there. So temperatures I think are as low as they're going to be, and now they're going to climb with the cloud cover and a southerly breeze kicking in. 47 Bethany Beach, Indian River Inlet at 47. As we're looking at calm winds now, a little bit of a breeze along the coast, but those winds will pick up as we go through the day. We're seeing some high wispy clouds building in right now, and high pressure that's been keeping us chilly the last couple of days is now beginning to slide offshore. We're getting into a southwesterly flow right now, and we have a big bubble of warm air developing back to our west, and then that will be heading our way as we go into this weekend. So we're looking at 80s as we go into your Saturday. Then this cold front will be sliding through Saturday night and then cooling us back into the 70s on Sunday. Here's Futurecast this morning in the 40s. Quick warm up into the mid to upper 50s by 9 a.m. By the noon hour, we're looking at 60s and low 70s, and by mid-afternoon, low 70s away from the coast, but cooler 50s and 60s at the coast. This evening, we're looking at a southerly breeze with temperatures in the 60s, and much of the overnight, we stay mild with partly cloudy skies, and by Saturday morning, lower 60s, and then with a strong southwesterly wind, we're into the 80s, low to mid-80s by tomorrow afternoon, but it is cooler at the beaches, so a taste of summer tomorrow. Then we head into your Easter Sunday. I think for sunrise services, we're looking at temperatures in the 60s, dry conditions with partly to mostly cloudy skies. And I think we'll see a lot of clouds on Easter Sunday, but it will be dry with temperatures into the 70s away from the coast and a little cooler at the beaches as those southerly winds ramp up today, gusting up to 25 miles per hour. And it stays breezy through the overnight, but it's a milder wind. And as we head into Saturday, still some gusty winds as those temperatures surge into the 80s. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, 72 for your Good Friday, mostly sunny, up to 83 on Saturday. There's a cool down on Easter Sunday, mostly cloudy, 72, and then mild into next week with a chance of some showers heading into Tuesday.
Thank you, Bob. We do want to correct a story we ran about the Bellmead Farm. That's the horse property on Route 24 in Delaware. It is seeking a zoning change to go from agriculture to commercial, paving the way for retail and residential space. We initially reported that the Planning and Zoning Commission voted against the rezoning ordinance, and that was incorrect. The commission did not vote to affirm or deny the project. The commission voted to close the record on the matter and defer to vote. We do regret the error. The application is expected to come up for a vote at a later date. Moving on, and new this morning in Salisbury, road closures happening today. The city says this is in preparation for the third Friday event. The closures are right there on your screen, downtown Plaza. That is the main street from West Market Street to Division Street. Also, Division Street from Route 50 to Circle Avenue will be closed. Those closures start at 2 p.m. If you plan on heading to the Lewis-Georgetown Trail next week, we do have an update for you. DelDOT is announcing a closure. The agency says it is an effort to control vegetation. They will use herbicide in the area. Closure is planned for Wednesday, April 23rd, weather permitting. There is a rain date for Thursday. DelDOT says work takes place from midnight to 8 a.m. and herbicide isn't dangerous to people or wildlife.
We're seeing calm conditions in Lewis right now. Some high wispy clouds, 45 degrees there. It's a chilly start to our Good Friday, but a nice warm up beginning later today, especially into the weekend. Saturday, we're looking at 80s. More clouds for Easter Sunday, but I think we're keeping it dry for Easter. I'll have much more on that, plus a mild next week pattern as we go into that time period. Your 10-day forecast is coming up next.
It is 5:55 on this Friday morning. Time to check in with our Coastal Pet of the Day. And today's Coastal Pet of the Day is coming to us from the Brandywine Valley SPCA. On your screen, that is Tiger Lily. Just look at Tiger Lily there. Shy girl, likes to hide under the bench when she can take her nap. It's a good place to do it. She would love a calm home where she can relax and be loved. And if you want to adopt Tiger Lily or any other lovable pet, just visit the Brandywine Valley SPCA. We want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. You can send us photos. Tell us what makes them so special. On your screen is that QR code at the top. That way you can submit your friends to us here. And then you can watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature. 5:56 now. We got a quick look of your forecast before you head out the door. Bob, hello. Very warm weather. Welcome back, my friend.
Oh, boy, it's great. And you know what, Matt? Not only is it warm heading into the holiday weekend, but I think we're looking at sustained warmth as we go into next week. So I think this is the last of the chilly weather for a while. Not hearing too many complaints out there. We're looking at temperatures, however, chilly early on, upper 30s away from the coast. Then sunshine as we go through the morning hours, some high wispy clouds. And we're looking at a southerly breeze, and that will warm us up into the low 70s today. I'm going 72 for a high on your Good Friday. And then you can see the overnight lows come up dramatically into the weekend, into the 50s and 60s. 83 on Saturday, mostly cloudy Easter Sunday, but I think it stays dry. 79, 68 on Monday, a few more showers on Tuesday, possibly 75, but sustained warmth as we go through the rest of next week, staying dry. Maybe another rain chance by next Sunday.
Lots of 70s there. Thank you, Bob. Coming up in our next hour, limited answers on absence. That's what we're getting after Sussex County Democrats meet during the controversy surrounding Representative Del Parker Selby. That and more when Coast TV News Today continues.